Okay, here we are, episode 7.
Episode 7 of That Record Got Me High.
That's Rob Elbow.
That's Barry Stock.
And today
We are talking about the Replacements record, Tim.
the follow-up to the classic Replacements record. The one you point to people and say, well, if you really want to get a Replacements record,
That's true. You're right.
Let It Be.
Let It Be. Their last one on Twin Tone. And I definitely, to be honest, I did waver. I definitely wanted to do a Replacements record, and I did think, should I do Let It Be?
That's the easy choice, but...
It's the easy choice, but for me, Tim has this thing, again, it's the sound of a band. It's the first one they did on their major label. The last one, Let It Be, was on Twin Tone, and then they were signed, they were on Sire.
Right.
So this was their big major label record.
Produced by,
which I didn't know this until we started doing this.
Right.
Produced by Tommy
Erdelyi.
I
guess
also
we're getting that
known
right.
as. That sounds great.
Tommy Ramone.
Tommy Ramone produced this record.
The last Ramone to pass away.
Yes, and apparently at that point he was kind of like the house producer at Sire, and they used him for different projects.
Which is a little known fact that he was actually the brains behind the Ramones.
The first, he produced basically their first 4 records.
Right.
And you know what else?
Which are, by coincidence, the best records they ever put out.
Yeah, well, right. And also, did you know this? Him and Ed Stasium on those first 4 records played all the leads, all the guitar leads.
Yeah, because Johnny couldn't play anything but those chords that he plays.
He didn't want to. He said his
lies. Johnny, if you hear anything other than a downstroke chord on a Ramones record, it's somebody. I thought Chris Spedding played some of that, but maybe not. Maybe it was.
I'm just talking about the first. I know I read the first 4 records. Especially.
Okay.
Johnny did not. There was a really great quote by Johnny Ramone that someone asked him why he didn't play lead, why he didn't expand leads, why he didn't expand his guitar playing, and he said, honestly, I didn't really think we would go anywhere, so I didn't.
He gave a dick. You mean he gave a dickish answer?
He did.
Yeah. And if you ever see the Ramones documentary,
End of the Century,
you will get a clearer picture of the dynamic of the Ramones, especially after Tommy left the band.
Yes, right.
Tommy was the intellectual glue and emotional glue, I think, that held that group together.
He was. He wasn't even supposed. He was originally supposed to be like their manager, producer.
And he ended up playing drums.
Joey, because Joey was playing drums, and Joey realized he couldn't play drums and sing.
And do that thing at the same time. Right. He's the perfect. Joey's a frontman, so
of course,
anyway,
one of the best. But we're not here to talk about the Ramones.
We're not talking about the Ramones.
We're here to talk about the Replacements, and So, like I said, to me, this is an interesting record because it's also the last record that guitar player Bob Stinson plays on.
Original guitar player Bob Stinson, which was a big part of the band, and he doesn't play much on the record, and we're going to get into that, what he does and what he doesn't. But he was basically a train wreck. His brother Tommy Stinson was a bass player, really young when they started. He was like 14 or something like that. Yeah.
But Bob Stinson was he had a lot of issues. He had a lot of
he had a stepfather that was abusing him, and his mom didn't know, or something like that. Her mom did know and just sort of looked the other way.
These guys. None of these guys had easy upbringings at all.
No.
This is not the college-bound kids or anything. None of them. No. I don't think any of them either graduated high school. Actually,
right.
I think basically they're.
And that's reflected in some of the anecdotes of their behavior. Are people who just have not. It's kind of like miscreants, like beyond just your average sort of.
Oh yeah. Well, they were, and it's ironic because they did become successful, but I think however successful they became, they could have become more successful. They could have been like Tom Petty or something like that.
Yeah,
they could have, because Bob.
They were poised, and they had so many people. They had a lot of famous people that liked them and talked about them in the press.
Paul Westerberg's got to be one of the greatest songwriters, rock songwriters. I mean, he just writes really great songs. But the Replacements always were like, to me, a band that just tried as upward of a trajectory they were going. They tried just as hard to fight against that and to
self-sabotage. Well, that was their MO, was self-sabotage.
Exactly. And especially, and it wasn't just Bob. And they after this record, pretty soon after, they ended up kicking him out of the band. And I read something really interesting because the drummer, what the hell's the drummer's name now? Chris Mars. Chris Mars said later on that he was kind of like a scapegoat. Because all of them were doing a lot of coke by then, a lot of cocaine, and that's like something something that you always forget. Like in the '80s, I think all these people were doing coke, and it wasn't just Fleetwood Mac and it wasn't just that. The punk band, Joe Strummer, I bet did as much cocaine as Joe Perry.
Well, think about the Clash of the Trajectory records. I think of like Sandinista as we have access to as much weed as we can smoke. And then after that, you end up, what was Combat Rock after that?
Yes.
Combat Rock was definitely like, okay, we've got access to coke now. And it changes the behavior, it changes the sound of the records. And frankly, I'll be truthful, I think this sounds like a cocaine record. The production and
Tim.
You're
talking about Tim. Yeah, yes. Right. It is definitely of its time. It came out in 1985.
June 80. No. What, it came out in June? No, it's like maybe later in 85. I remember looking at
October. It came out October 85.
Because I was comparing that to an R.E.M. record that came out, and it was the Fables. Not Fables. What's the one after Fables?
Life's Rich Pageant.
It was in June of 85.
Okay. And I don't know. I've heard people slag the production, and I've heard the band at different times have said they weren't that happy with it. But to me, I think I think it sounds good.
I'll get on the slag bandwagon.
Really?
For this one, yeah.
Well,
not on every song, but some of it. Some of it sounds slapdash.
Well, see, but I guess that for me, that's the quality that I really like. I like the fact that you could tell that they went into a big studio, they had a bigger budget, but still a lot of it sounds thrown off.
But some of it doesn't. There's the contrast where you have some songs which are obviously much more produced, and then some songs where it's like there's some hinky nonsense that goes on that you go, yeah.
But then again, that's them. Sort of,
Yeah, that's their thing. Sure, that they're shambolic.
A great example of that was when they were on Saturday Night Live. When this came out, they somehow ended up getting a stint on Saturday Night Live, and it went. I mean, it was notorious. I guess. Who's the guy?
Lorne Michaels.
Lorne Michaels said they'd never play live TV again.
Once she says, Elvis Costello got banned. People get banned for like,
I
don't know what. Oh, maybe he said a curse word or something.
He did. He said. Paul Westerberg said to Bob, he goes, "Come on, fucker," when the lead was going, because I guess for the soundtrack, Bob Stinson missed the lead break, so he was like, "Come on," but whatever. Yeah. But actually, if you watch it now, you could watch the performances. It's pretty great to me.
Is.
I mean, it's really raw.
It was a good performance.
But it's also this is a band that just got signed to a major label. They did Bastards of Young. They're singing their anthemic song, and he skips half the stuff he doesn't even sing. Like he walks away from the mic. He doesn't the second chorus. He doesn't even sing it. He's just walking away, looking at, goofing at the drummer. So it's just it's amazing. It's great to watch. It's fun to watch it.
Right.
But it's like these guys are not taking anything seriously.
Right. And then you had bands which around that time knew when to fuck around and knew when to take things seriously, or knew how to look like they were fucking around, but were actually taking things seriously. Right. And that's why I bring up R.E.M. because you have them who are in the background of all of this stuff that's happening. You have this monster rock band that's coming out of the same kind of scene and emerging over the years, slowly, one record gets more popular than...
Right, and they knew, and they were...
And everybody knows, these guys are to be
to be reckoned with.
Right, and I don't think I would never accuse them of selling out, being a sellout band or anything, because it was very organic.
It was work.
Yeah,
but the things that REM had that probably the replacements didn't have was they had an incredible manager, Jefferson Holt, and they had an incredible lawyer and attorney, Burtis Downs.
Oh, okay,
they had people in their corner who had been with them from the beginning, who were really, really smart and were really together and were doing things methodically to help the band become successful. I seriously doubt. I think the guys at Twin Tone were probably great.
But to be fair, though, the Replacements might not have been a band that could have been managed no matter what, though.
True. Well, yeah, right.
Because aside from Bob Stinson, which really, he had a really sad end because they kicked him out of the band, and then he lasted like another 10 years, and then he ended up passing away from, what was it?
I don't even know.
Organ failure just from years of abuse. Substance abuse.
Yeah.
And it's really sad because aside from the fact that he was probably he was a raging alcoholic and he abused all these things, that deep down inside also he had so many mental issues that just were never addressed.
He was gonna.
It's like Didi
Ramone.
I just recently read his autobiography, and it's just such a sad
53rd
story.
and 3rd, man.
But you could tell that here was a guy that was just a really great songwriter.
Yeah.
But he just had so many mental issues that were never addressed, never taken care of.
And he'd been a junkie for a long time.
Yeah.
That's a little known fact, I guess, or a little acknowledged fact that Didi was a junkie from day one of the Ramones until from soup to nuts. He was a junkie.
But the drugs were just like Bob. They were a symptom. They weren't that. They were a symptom of him trying to self-medicate himself. When maybe if someone had gotten him to somewhere that could actually medicate him properly,
he might have done better.
He might have done better. Right. He probably would have been perfect.
But being in the Ramones was not that. And definitely not that kind of situation.
Right, and probably the same thing.
It's funny. It's an interesting parallel. The Ramones and the Replacements, the kind of bands that they were.
Yes, right, and also the Replacements. I was thinking the funny thing about them is they're usually logged in with the punk bands, but they weren't at first. Maybe they were kind of a punk band, but they really
the first
weren't.
record is fast, sort of hardcore-ish, and it's fast and it's aggro.
But they were a rock. They were just like a rock band.
I went through the. The Touchstones. I like to have influence. I like to dig through and find the influences on this record. And he
a big star. Alex Chilton.
He claims to be a huge Alex Chilton fan. I'm sure he is. I don't hear it in this record.
You don't hear it, not so much in this record.
You know what I hear? I hear The Clash.
Right.
I hear Rolling Stones.
Kiss.
Oh, on the what's it called? The song about Coke. The song.
Lay It Down, Clown.
No.
That's about Speed.
Yeah, fuck. Come on, Barry. Dose of Thunder.
Oh, Dose of Thunder, right. Yeah.
I mean, that's the production and everything. They're imitating Destroyer.
Right, exactly. Which obviously the album before they did a great Kiss cover.
Yeah, right. But this but this even. I went back and listened to Destroyer. I was like, to make sure that I was right. I was like, there's even an Ace Frehley guitar solo in Dose of Thunder.
Oh, well, you know what? I was thinking, actually, did you get to listen at all? There's a great release. It was a bootleg for years, but they just did an official release of Live at Maxwell's, a show they did at Maxwell's, Replacements Live at Maxwell's.
No.
Oh, you have to listen to that because it was done as this record was coming out. Bob was still in the band.
Okay.
And it's great, man.
Yeah,
these guys are on
night.
Well, you know what? You say an on night, but also there's a lot of sloppiness. They're playing this huge show at Maxwell's, and they know it's being recorded. The fourth song they do is them trying to do Fox on the Run by Sweet, and they don't really know it, and they get about halfway through it. So
wasn't that part of their shtick though too? The covers that they didn't really know.
Oh yeah, obviously. Okay. Oh yeah.
I only saw them once, and it was post Bob Stinson. So
okay. No, I saw them with Bob Stinson, and they always, just like the record, flashes of brilliance and then flashes of just total sloppiness. But if you listen to that, you hear Bob. He is their Ace Frehley, basically.
Yeah.
He is their, not like a virtuoso, but plays some really cool licks.
Yeah.
Gets a good sound, and also all these substance abuse issues where he eventually has to be kicked out of the band.
Right, yeah. There you go. So we have Kiss plus the Ramones equals the Replacements.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I like that. That's really good, actually. And So this record, when it came out, and also the videos they did for this record.
It was a speaker, right?
Yeah. Just a shot of a speaker, and then one of them was the speaker with a foot tapping in front of it.
Yeah.
And the record before Let It Be, they had a song called Senior Video, which is just totally, putting down MTV and making fun of the metal senior video. And then they had to make these videos for this record, but they totally, sabotaged themselves, made these videos that, obviously MTV maybe played it. They played it on 120 minutes.
If you think about everything else that was the other music that was on MTV in 1985, it was, I remember seeing one of the videos with the speaker. I guess it was it Bastards of Young was the single?
Yeah. Right.
And I remember seeing that on MTV, and it was a big deal when it was on. Maybe it was on 120 Minutes or
probably
the Cutting Edge, which was before 120 Minutes.
That's right.
And it was like, oh man, the replacements are on. They're playing them on MTV, and that was a big deal because ordinarily they weren't doing stuff like that.
Right.
It was very commercial.
And real quick, I want to talk about the cover of the record because it's a really weird cover.
It is an odd
it's
thing.
So odd. It's like the top part is like this pink color, and it's got like when I got the record, I didn't realize it's like drawings of each of them.
Yes, like a high school graphic design class cover.
Yes, and it's so weird. And the only one whose face you really could sing is Bob, and it's like upside down, and it looks really weird.
Yeah, it was.
And then the main part of the cover is this weird picture of like some a passageway, like a cavernous path that has nothing to do with anything.
My theory on that is those are catacombs and those are graves. But that's a picture of like some. I mean, that was my guess.
Right.
That it was like, okay, here's our, the gap. We're going straight to hell or to the.
It's definitely it's a weird cover, and artist Robert Longo is the one that did it. He did the drawings and he put the cover together, and
probably with some input from the band.
Yeah, probably. But again, they probably said, "Oh yeah, that's good,"
Well, maybe it could have been like make that part pink.
Right.
So should we go through the tunes?
Let's do it. Let's get into the tunes. This record, this is the one I picked, and I remember I got this record right when it came out. I was already a fan of the Replacements, and I just remember listening to the fuck out of this record. Oh, I listened to it a lot because it's got some really great songs, and I really like the band. And I like the direction that they were going in as far as Paul Westerberg's songs, and this was a big deal. This is a big deal record for me, and revisiting it now, it mostly holds up. I probably held it up maybe to a little higher level than maybe it is, but it's still a really great record with some lights out great songs on it.
Right. I never owned this record.
Yeah, so, I had a feeling when
it was Let It Be. I did own, and Hootenanny before that. I owned
both great records.
But between the time that Let It Be came out and Tim came out, I kind of went off in the.
Did you start listening to King Crimson?
Well, no, I was already listening to King. The problem was that King Crimson was present all the way through all of this.
Butthole Surfers.
Buttholes, basically Buttholes, Volcano Suns, Sonic Youth.
Maybe at this point, maybe they were a little too rock and roll.
It's a rock. This is a rock and roll record.
Yeah,
there is like
you were looking for a little wilder.
There's not a lot of overt punk rock in this record, or there's not a lot. There's not a lot of. There's a punk attitude, but musically. There's also, I gotta call it. There's Bruce Springsteen in here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was going to definitely mention. There's Bruce Springsteen. There's a country western, a little.
Yeah. The country tune though. It's a Beatles, also a Beatlesy thing. Al Bai has got these Beatlesy. Sort of like a Ringo tune.
But also as filtered through the Clash, because it reminded me of something that could have been on the Clash could have done.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's start. First song on the record is "Hold My Life," and this is amazing because did you read? Oh yeah, I know. I raised it's cold. We're at Casa Dave Franklin tonight, and I lowered the air because it was warm when I came in.
You talk.
All right, I'll talk. All right, I'm going to read from the record Trouble Boys, which I highly recommend. Keep going around the corner there. There you go. Trouble Boys, great book about these guys, and it's definitely, I don't think it's going to make you like them more because they don't come off that great on it. But this is from the book Trouble Boys about the first song, Hold My Life.
I heard that the book will probably make you, some of the anecdotes might make you go, oh.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that's the same thing when I read Bob Mould's autobiography. It sort of had the same effect where...
I wish I hadn't read that.
Exactly. In a way, yeah. All right, so from Trouble Boys, about this song, it says... Westerberg wrote several of the songs a week before the album was recorded, giving it a loose improvisational quality, including the LP opener, Hold My Life. And he said, yeah, that one doesn't have any lyrics. He laughed. He said, that's a perfect example. There's no damn words to it. And if you listen to him, it sounds like he's just throwing off most of the words. And
I wondered about that.
Because basically he said what he wanted, the hook in the song was Hold My Life, because I just might lose it.
Right.
And that's what he wanted the song to be, and he knew that, but he didn't give a shit about the rest.
Right, because the other stuff is about a cartoon turtle.
Yeah. And he says, he starts it out, well, I found it. And then you came in here, he says, maybe my life. And he says, down on all fives instead of down on all fours. And then he says, let me crawl. If I want, I could die.
Oh, by my hand. Yeah, like
no, but he doesn't say my hand. He says, oh, I could die. Oh, my hair. That's
really?
What he says dye my hair because he's playing with the dye. I could dye and then my hair.
Yeah. You got right. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so it's definitely thrown off, but it's a good song. It's a really good song. But
it's a good opener.
Is one of these thrown out songs that's like, which they're kind of brilliant. He's kind of brilliant at being able to write an off the cuff song that sounds so off the cuff, but it's still like a really good song. And
musically for this one, I've got written down Clash, Give 'Em Enough Rope.
Oh, okay, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, because London, it's like he was listening to that era Clash for this.
Right,
it's got,
right.
London
Yes.
Calling's
London
a little
Calling,
more...
that's it.
More
I shouldn't have said Sanities before. I meant London Calling.
Well, London Calling's a little more sophisticated and a little more world influence.
Right.
This has got more of just this, like straight up... that was what I got from this. And the fact that the lyrics are somewhat... he's talking about... time for decisions to be made. Crack up in the sun, lose it in the shade. He's, it's about being under pressure. Hold my life until I'm ready to use it. That kind of makes sense.
Right. That's the only part of it I think that makes sense. It's just
and another part, Razzle Droll. There's a notes that say it's from some cartoon turtle that used to say
exactly,
and
right.
that I had never seen.
I had never seen or heard.
Yeah,
but
that must have been a Minneapolis centric cartoon because. I lived in the Midwest for a while and watched TV and never saw it. So,
all right, we go into the second song is I'll Buy. The aforementioned I'll Buy, which you said, this was the one that you said was kind of...
the Beatlesy, but also the Beatles and Buck Owens had this thing that they sort of this cross-pollination where they really like Buck Owens and Buck Owens really like them. And so there's some of those Ringo songs... They're actually, in fact, factoid, because we're probably not going to ever do a Beatles record.
Probably not.
Those seem to have been covered.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. There's a Buck Owens song called Buckaroo that the Beatles directly steal the guitar riff for. I'll think of it and I'll come back to this. But,
well, it really swings. Yeah, this song swings. It's got like kind of a swinging thing, and I guess lyrically it's about a guy.
I feel fine.
I feel fine. Okay, yeah, definitely.
The guitar riff is stolen directly from a Buck Owens song.
It's got that swingy drumming vibe. And this song is about a guy who's disgusted by consumerism, and the girlfriend. He's telling her anything you want.
I'll buy. But okay, I'll buy. It's not just buying stuff. It's I'll believe it.
I'll take it. Yeah, I'll believe it. Right, exactly.
I'll buy that.
Says, sure. And as it goes on, like the last time he's singing, he's like, fine. He's like exasperated with fine. And also, I just want to say that a big part of why I've always loved the Replacements, besides Paul Westberg writing great songs, is his voice. He's got this sandpaper voice that you only get from smoking and drinking, and it's just the perfect combination where it sounds like
he was a high school janitor, right?
Was he? Okay.
I think so. Yeah, I think that was his job.
So you picture him yelling at the kids?
Yeah.
I just mopped that floor.
Bring me the vomit powder.
Great. And then we go into the third song.
One more thing I want to add about this is that there are no good male-female relationships in this album. So he's not happy with her wanting all this stuff.
Right. He's saying, fine, I'll buy, but you can tell he's not.
He's not.
Exactly.
So Kiss Me on the Bus is the next one.
And this is like a really sweet, catchy. Is this one you thought was produced? Do you think this one is produced well? Yeah. This one definitely sounds like someone at some point was saying, oh, this is going to be a single.
Well, this one was the one I remember hearing on college radio. So whether the other ones were supposed to be the single, Kiss Me on the Bus was what I remember hearing.
Yeah, and it's a really catchy song, and it uses basically mass transit, like riding a bus or riding a train, and you know how people are usually sitting there staring ahead,
But you don't know if he knows this girl or not.
Right. No, it could be someone he just sees her sitting there, staring ahead, and not interacting with anyone, and he's like using it as like a metaphor for like maybe a relationship. Yep. But yeah, I agree with you. It's probably someone that it's just he was like, maybe they ride the bus every day, and you see someone, but he's like, oh, if you knew how I felt, you wouldn't act so adult.
So it's a younger girl,
right?
Teenager. And it also, if you, I got from this that musically it's Shattered by the Stones.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. I gotta listen to that again.
And so it's cleaner than Shattered by the Stones, but it's got that, and then it switches it up, and it's not Shattered the whole way through. But right at the beginning, I was like, oh, that sounds really familiar. What was that? And I was like, oh. It's Some Girls. So is that Stones influence coming in there?
Right. And who plays the solo on this? Because we already said Bob Stinson was very hit or miss in this record. He only came in, played for a couple things. They couldn't get it. Tommy played the lead in this song.
All right.
Tommy Erdelai played the solo in this song, and he's credited for that. And it's awesome.
Yes, I didn't look at the individual song. I guess I needed to look at the individual credits.
No, that's what I'm here for, Barry.
That they are songwriting credits are not credited to the whole band. That they are broken up based on who contributed or who didn't. Right. And we've had some bands where that was true and some where it wasn't.
Exactly.
Was it? And who, I don't remember Dream Syndicate how their stuff was. It was all Steve Wynn or.
Oh yeah, I don't remember. I would think probably though.
Yeah, but the magazine was just magazine, right? We had one where it was like, and we definitely noticed. Oh, these are credited, and those bands sometimes have a different vibe. Where everybody gets a songwriting credit.
Oh, yeah, right. No, but this is definitely not everybody gets a songwriting credit band.
No, it's not.
Right. Although this next song now, Dose
Should
of
we
Thunder,
explain why that makes a big difference? Because the money is in the publishing.
The money's in the publishing. So if a band, if the main songwriter is gracious enough to let everyone split, that's helpful. So helpful in the future.
Down the road,
you're basically
it's like points. It's like being in a sitcom and you got points instead of just getting paid and being like, all right. Well,
right, but if you got a band and you saying these songs are mine and you have all the publishing later on, you're the only one still getting money from it if it gets played. The other guys, once the band's over with, they get nothing.
I got a demonstrative story about that is about a totally different, same era actually, probably maybe the same year. The famous Police song "Every Breath You Take."
Yes.
Well, that I guess Sting played them a demo of the song and said, we can record this, but only if I get sole credit for it.
Oh, and Andy Summers probably came out with that guitar
riff.
No.
Played the riff that made it a hit. Otherwise, it would have been like, eh.
But yeah, he gets no credit.
He gets all he got was, he gets bupkis.
How shocking of Sting.
I know. How out of character.
I never would have guessed.
I won't use any pointed language.
All right, so we got A Dose of Thunder, and I read this is one of two songs that specifically they put together for Bob to give Bob something to do, basically.
Oh, really?
Yes, he said we gotta have some kind of more rockin' song that Bob
can play up.
Because what they said was Bob would come in, he would get bored so easily. Yeah. So if they would work on something, he'd have anything to do.
Sounds like ADHD, maybe.
Yeah. He would just drink and he could be useless. So he wrote this song specifically, A Dose of Thunder, to be something that Bob could be showcased, and it's like a real heavy rockin' song. I think, was this the one you said?
Yeah, this is exactly like Kiss. This could have, production-wise, it could be on Kiss Destroyer, and not only just because of the subject matter, but it's got all the reverb on it that Destroyer has on it, which is sort of annoying. If you go back and listen to Kiss Destroyer, a lot of us had that record.
Yes.
They've now, Bob Ezra went back and remixed it, and there's a Destroyer unmasked or something, and it's on Spotify, and it's actually, I was like, oh, this is what it was supposed to sound like. He backed all the reverb off, and it's a much more present record. But this sounds like, and remember God of Thunder? There was a Kiss song, God of Thunder.
God of Thunder, right.
But this song's about cocaine. I mean, A-Ball is in the second line. As soon as you said
it, I got it.
Yeah. Give me one good dose of thunder.
Right.
And what did he say? You don't, with the line, when it comes, it only takes a little till you need a ton. Yeah, well,
that's it.
Ain't that true? So we should probably take a break. It's 30 minutes in.
All right, let's take a little break, refresh our drinks.
Dose of Thunder, lyrically, not a whole lot else to...
No.
Yeah, right.
We will be back.
We are back.
All right, and now we get to move into... I've been so excited.
Well, what are we talking about? People might have gone, in that 2-second break, they might have nodded off.
We're talking about Tim, the record Tim, by the band The Replacements. And we're going through it, and now we're up to the 5th song on the first side, and this song is called Waitress in the Sky.
Waitress, and he definitely had a negative experience with it.
No, that's all right. So you obviously didn't dig. Dig enough for this.
Right. So Rob's got the
first,
story.
I have to qualify this by saying that my daughter is a flight attendant. She's been a flight attendant for about 7 years now.
Which at the time of this recording, a flight attendant was called.
Stewardess, yes. Yeah. And now when people say stewardess, I correct them. No, it's flight
attendant.
And I remember thinking the same thing. Oh, he obviously had a run-in with a flight attendant, with a stewardess, and no. Here's the story. His sister was a flight attendant.
Aha.
And she was complaining to him about how these people treat her. Much the same way my daughter complains to me, the way passengers treat the flight attendant.
This is
so
her
he wrote this song
about
but he did such a good job that everyone I know, because when she became a flight attendant, I remember for some of my snarky friends, one of the snarky friends you know very well, you play in a band with, said, "Oh, Waitress in the Sky," and it's like, but he's singing it from the voice of an asshole passenger. Strutting up the aisle, big deal, you get to fly. You ain't nothing but a waitress in the sky. But he knew, as I know now, that they're not just waitresses in the sky. They have very important jobs.
Tremendous responsibility.
They do.
You're moving 600 miles an hour in a metal tube.
And they have to control all these people, and the pilot and the co-pilot, they're locked up front. They have nothing. So,
This is before locked cockpits. But
Right. So I was really excited.
I'm impressed now because it does come. It is based on a third hand. It's stuff she's had people say to her, and he's taken it and turned it into a song. So that's great.
Right. And and he goes.
You're always out of champagne.
Yeah. You get to me, you're always out of champagne. That's the asshole guy in first class. Which, believe me, I've heard stories of the assholes in first class.
Sure. Well, I just think that I gotta think that groping still has to be a tremendous. It's such close quarters that it is,
and heavy drinking. These people just get they're like they just gotta they get on drunk already, and then they keep and then they
that's when you see people like at the airport in the morning drinking, and you're like, damn.
But he's got the words in this are just great. He says. Sanitation expert and maintenance engineer, garbage man, a janitor, and you, my dear.
Yeah. Everybody's sitting in that row.
Right.
Or it also occurred to me that that's also the job of the flight attendant, was the sanitation expert, maintenance engineer.
Oh, right, that's true. Yeah, because they do. Oh, yeah, cleaning up puke. Yeah, believe me. Yeah. So
in tight quarters, close quarters.
But I was really heartened to read that. It made me feel good. So
cool.
For Corey, a tribute to Corey.
Hats off to. And they get nothing but respect from me.
That's right. Good. Well played, Barry. All right, now the last song on side one is
Swingin' Party.
Swingin' Party. I love this song.
This is probably my favorite song on the record.
It's got, I guess I read somewhere that it's sort of similar to a Frank Sinatra song. There's a Frank Sinatra song that has the same kind of vibe.
Yeah. And he wasn't talking about this kind of swinging party though.
No. This song is such like a maudlin song.
It is.
And to me, it sort of could be about
a swinging party. Is what happened to the Lincoln conspirators.
Right.
He's not talking about the Sinatra. We're gonna have a swinging party. Come on, bring the booze, baby.
Right. It starts out, bring your old lampshade. Somewhere there's a party. Here it's never ending.
Can't remember where it started.
Pass around the lampshade. There'll be enough room in jail.
If being wrong's a crime, I'm serving forever. If being strong's your kind, I need help here with this feather. So he's self-confessing that he's a loser.
Right. And it's like you're saying for the swinging party down the line,
self-pitying loser.
There's no swinging party down the line.
No,
it's like this is all.
Well, the swinging party is he's talking about they're gonna be hung themselves. That's a swinging party. Did you not? Okay, I'm gonna say, did you not get that?
No, I didn't.
Swinging party is people on the end of a rope.
Okay, that does.
That will all be together. Doesn't it say somewhere? We'll all be together at the swinging party down the line, and we hang side by side. They're not hanging out.
Oh, that's great! Woo! Wow, Barry, look at you, Barry. All right, well done.
I didn't get that right off the bat, and then I started reading through it. I was like, wait a second. Swinging party. There's a double entendre here. He's talking about people that end up on the end of a rope, whether self-inflicted or somebody else.
Right. Oh, and what a perfect metaphor for poor Bob.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah,
the swinging party came about 10 years later.
I mean, Paul Westerberg certainly had nearby examples.
Right.
And I think these guys, they weren't playing fucked up.
No, right. They weren't right.
There's
the fucked up losers. They were fucked up losers.
Yeah, there's guys that get in bands, and then they're basically underneath that. There's a stable personality.
Sometimes, yeah, but not
always.
These guys.
No, sometimes.
And he had a great line I read because he said it's ironic that they're played so much on college radio because none of them ever got near going to college.
Higher education was not anything that they.
And they became such a college band. And speaking of that was the end of side one, and now side two starts off with this generational anthem.
Right.
Bastards of Young.
Well, this is their. Got more Clash comparisons, and this is London Calling. This is their Four Horsemen.
Death or Glory. Oh, Four Horsemen. Yeah, the Four Horsemen. That's right. Okay, very good.
Well, it could be,
Could be Death or Glory.
Death or Glory, Four Horsemen. It's got that, the last gang in town. Same shit.
But this is a song for them, because they just got signed and supposedly they were getting. Their dreams are coming true.
Right.
And it starts out, God, what a mess on the ladder of success. We take one step and miss the whole first rung. Dreams unfulfilled, graduate unskilled. It beats
picking cotton and waiting to be forgotten. So who else was on Sire? Ramones were on Sire, right?
Right, yeah.
Talking Heads? Were Talking Heads on Sire?
Probably.
Or were they on... I was trying to remember that record label, that yellow label, right, from Sire.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Pretenders, I think were on.
It could be. God, I don't know. If you could remember what
I just
label
remember the
was on
labels
your
looked
records.
like. Yeah, Sire Records. Good. And so I was like, oh yes, a lot of people were on Sire. So that if you were like a punk rock or a new wave or alternative band, the word alternative was just sort of forming around this time.
Right.
This was before that. It was new wave or whatever. There.
Right. But this was a band of kids, and they started out when they were like kids as the band from working class families, dysfunctional family lives, and So it's like how this is the perfect anthem for this band. But it also caught, so many people, it's like a great slacker. It's the slacker anthem.
It is. Yeah. But
we are the sons of no one, bastards of young.
But it is one of the songs on the record where the production is spot on, and there definitely was it's you don't know whether it's label pressure or whatever. Someone said, okay, we want to single out of this one, so we need to make this. We're gonna, we need to sweeten this up and get some more. And
it's got that great guitar break, the dual guitar thing, which reminds me of London Calling, something that would definitely be on London Calling. The two guitars intertwining with each other, really good.
It's pretty prevalent on this, and the Clash is about as punk rock as this record gets. And it's not the first record Clash. It's definitely
a London Calling.
London Calling, or Give Them Enough
Rope. A little Give
Them
Enough Rope.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And another thing with this record, you never, Barry confided to me that he never owned this record.
Nope.
But
did I say that on mic? Maybe
no, you didn't. I don't know. Maybe
I think I did.
Did you? Well, we'll have to check the tape.
It's not really a confession.
But the record did not come with a lyric sheet.
So, you had to guess.
Yeah, you had to guess, and especially back then, there was no Google, there was no way, so no lyric sheet.
Even now, you can go online and find wrong lyrics.
Oh yeah, and you do, especially the genius thing. They're not geniuses.
They're not foolproof. Well, that's where these came from. So
no, they got some wrong with this one too, I think. But this song has one of the greatest stanzas of one of my favorite in any rock song, and I actually have used this to give advice to my kids, to my children, and that's the ones who love us best are the ones we'll lay to rest and visit their graves on holidays at best. The ones who love us least are the ones we'll die to please.
Sure, we all know that. Yeah,
and that's it. Why are you always trying to please the people that don't give a shit about you?
That's right. That are never going to give you back what you want.
That's it, and it's so great. That's such great words.
I can come up with examples of that. Ooh,
right.
Jesus Christ!
Right?
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a great song, and then we go into "Lay It Down, Clown," which is another song. Supposedly that was one that they sort of wrote for Bob to have Bob something to do. It's a rockin' song. But did you read into this song what also that there's an inside joke in this song?
Lay it down, clown.
Relating to
skinny as a rail, and you think you know what it takes.
Okay, do you know who it's about?
No.
Peter Buck.
Oh, shit.
Yes, this song is about Peter Buck because apparently at that time he had an affinity for speed. And famously,
at that time?
He had an affinity for speed, and he famously I'm sure, by the way, he's a fine
You're sure?
family
He's
man.
sure.
I don't know. He had a famously twitchy leg moves on stage.
Oh, yeah.
And if you read the lyrics, that's this look. Yeah, skinny as a rail, and you think you got what it takes. The only exercise you ever get is the shakes.
Well, little known, probably little publicized facts. The entire the British punk movement was fueled with cheap speed.
Right.
And, okay, so all of those bands that you love from England from 1976 through 1981.
Right.
They were all jacked up on speed.
Right. And definitely. And you could hear it in the music.
Oh, yeah. There was a there was a Musician magazine article where Robert Fripp and Joe Strummer being interviewed because Fripp had discussed his love for the live Clash.
Right.
And he says to Joe, where do you get all that energy for before you go on stage? And Joe Strummer says, orange juice.
Yes.
So I think Peter Buck was just taking a cue from his probably.
But this wasn't an inside joke, but it's not in a nasty way because they were friendly. He played on the last record, Let It Be.
They were
played
all fucking doing coke. So,
definitely. Yeah. So, but they thought it was kind of a funny thing, and they were basically telling him, "Lay it down, clown." And
Speed Freaks and Rock and Roll. Actually, there's a lot of great records that.
Yeah. Dr. Feelgood. We talked about Dr. Feelgood. Yeah.
Motorhead. The song Motorhead means speed
definitely.
freak.
There you go.
And there's a band called the Pink Fairies that were notorious speed freaks that made some great albums.
All right, so we move from that song into, speaking of college radio, we have their college radio anthem.
Get back to the hill. Oh, wait, I'm going back to Lay It Down, Clown. Get back to the hills. Get back to where you belong. Finally found out which way the wind blows. The rumors keep on spreading all over town. So is this all about Peter?
Yes, it's all about Peter. Once you know that, it's great.
Athens
you read
is
it
hilly. I've lived in Athens for 5 years. So yeah, very nice.
It's awesome. I know,
okay.
I love that.
Much and musically, this song is a Stones total, like it's Exile,
very,
Let It Bleed.
Exactly, very Stonesy.
The slide
Exile,
guitar,
for sure, 100%.
and 100% Stone song. This one,
it is. Now we go into the college radio anthem.
Yeah, Left of the Dial.
Left of the Dial. Well, you say that like you're not sold on Left of the Dial. It is very. One thing that I didn't mention at the beginning was that one thing about the Replacements, and especially as they went on Paul Westerberg's song, is a lot of it is unabashedly sentimental.
Yeah.
And but I like that. I respect that as much as a hard ass he probably makes him out to be, and a self-saboteur, he still has that sentimentality that he's not afraid to lay out there.
Right.
And I heard, especially like on the album before Let It Be, like he brought songs to them, like when he brought Unsatisfied and Androgynous, and said, I'm just gonna play, and they're like looking at him like, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?
We're not.
But that's so I do respect that, and this is
that same record has Jerry's Got a Boner though,
right? Exactly. So there's definitely but I always loved that he wasn't afraid of the
is this the first
sentimentality.
record where you get the intimation that it's the Paul Westerberg show?
But the next record for sure is when it really starts. But that's because they were still bringing Bob into the fold and still operating more as a band. They just got less and less. That was another reason why this for me is the record for them. For me, although I really, there's great songs on his later records too, and some of his solo stuff is great. But this song also, speaking of Alex Chilton before, Alex Chilton co-produced this song and he sang backups on this song.
Well, I thought there were two songs that I
know, but this one for sure though.
Okay.
And this song is a story about a girl that Paul Westerberg was sort of singing to, and he didn't. And basically the idea that maybe I'll hear. She was in a band. She played in a band. And maybe I'll hear you. Left of the Dial is obviously the college radio station.
Well, Sweet Georgia Breezes, so it's either Athens or Atlanta.
Right. Okay. And I don't know if he ever mentioned who the actual girl is or what band she was in, but he said he specifically did hear her like driving on tour, listening to College Station. He heard her band on the, he heard it on the radio. Left of the Dial.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. So it is it's like this is kind of a love relationship song, although classic for him because it's obviously nothing that ever got consummated.
Right, yeah.
Girl. Oh, no, he did. You know what? I forgot. He did mention her in his book. Left of the Dial is the story of a girl, a guitar player, Lynn Blakely, who toured with Mitch Easter's Let's Active. So she played with Let's Active.
Okay, I have a Let's Active story.
And she, so was Let's Active a Athens band?
They were North Carolina. He was from Mitch Easter's studio was in Asheville, I think.
But he produced R.E.M., right?
Yeah, he produced. Right, they recorded. Mitch Easter produced Murmur, and I don't know if he produced Reckoning or not. But he. So in April 4th, 1988, my wife and I went to the Musical Moon in Tallahassee on our first date. Before we had Thai food at this place, this notoriously good Thai restaurant called Bonsai in Tallahassee, run by real Thai people, and it was actual Thai food. It was before sushi Thai.
It's run by real Thai people.
It was an American guy and his Thai wife who was the cook. Nice. And so we went and saw Let's Active at the Musical Moon on our first date, April 4th, 1988. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And
neither one of us liked Let's Active, but we went.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we went because they were the only thing going on. So we're like,
I never got into Let's Active either.
So it's apologies to Mitch Easter and
apologies, Mitch. A great producer.
Yeah, sure.
I guess. I don't know.
Well, Murmur's an incredible record.
It is an incredible record, yes. Okay, yeah, so that is the story. Actually, it's the girl who toured with Less Active, and he said maybe we're passing through town.
What's her name?
Lynn Blakely.
Lynn, get in touch with
there you go.
That Record Got Me High.
That Record Got Me High. TRGMH33
at gmail.com.
There you go, or hit us up on our Facebook page. And we go from that sentimental song to another really sentimental song, Little Mascara.
Yeah, it's sentimental, but it's not.
It's sad. It's a character song about a single mom who fell for the wrong guy, of course.
Yeah.
Very poignant, and just the idea, Little Mascara, all she's losing is a little mascara because she's crying. Mm-hmm. Obviously, she's crying, so the mascara is running. For the moon, you keep shooting. Throw your rope up in the air. For the kids, you stay together. You nap them and you slap them in a high chair. That's a great picture of just And then the guy eventually leaves, and all you ever wanted was someone to take care of you, and all you're ever losing is a little mascara.
Cry.
cry.
That you cry.
And you cry, right. But it's a great song, though. It's a great rock song. I guess sentimental, a little too sentimental for you, a little too...
Yeah, and another like, there's no positive... Are there any positive human relationships in this song, in this album?
No, it's not. It's negative. It's totally negative.
Totally negative, right?
Yeah.
And not just women, but men, too.
Yeah,
like, they're all fuck-ups.
Yeah.
Drunks. Losers.
Drunks, losers. Speaking of that, we come to the final song on the record. One of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Oh, it's such a good song. Here Comes the Regular. 3 chords, basically just a 3-chord song. It's basically knocking on Evan's door, the chords.
Yep.
But such a beautiful, super emotional, sad about just being at the bar.
Yeah. And wanting everybody to know who you are at that bar, your place.
Well, a person can work up a mean thirst after a hard day of nothing much of all.
Yeah. You're like a picture on the fridge that's never stocked with food.
It's so depressing.
Yeah, something tells me Paul Westerberg may have experienced the fridge without food.
Yeah, and it's very effective though. It's basically just him playing a 12-string and piano. He plays piano in this.
Yeah.
And it's very sparse, but it's just, this song just makes me sad whenever I hear it.
Well, it's real. This one's like all the songs on the record. This one is one where I can go, okay, I know, this person.
Yeah,
I'm familiar with this person.
Oh, yeah.
The guy who, is at the bar and...
we know there's people
played in bands with them.
Right. Some of them aren't with us anymore. Some of them aren't on this planet.
Yeah.
There's
that line from Barfly, the Bukowski movie. Not a great movie, but there is a classic scene. To all my friends, and he buys the whole bar around. To all my friends, and you just go, "It's not your fucking friends." They're from now. They're your friends. They're your friends if you bought them a drink.
He makes a toast in this too. He said, "I'll drink a great big whiskey to you anyway." Yeah. Even if you're in someone else's arms, I'll drink a great big whiskey to you anyway.
God rest his guts.
Yeah. And I love his voice. His voice just sort of cracks when he gets to the second chorus. Someone's going to show up. Never fear.
Yeah.
His voice is just cracking, but it's just really good. It's very effective.
Your back on
this song makes me want to drink.
Yeah, well, we are drinking, aren't we? So
yes, we are.
It seems to have accomplished.
Yeah, turn your back on the payback last call, and then it ends. And one of the biggest genius, the real genius of the song is that he comes back after the little instrumental break.
Yeah.
He comes back and does one more verse, and then that's it. He doesn't. You would think normal people would go, "Here comes," but no, it just finishes first the glass, then the leaves that last, then comes the snow. Ain't much to rake anyway in the fall, and then that's it. It just sort of ends out. You don't go to the resolving chorus. It just ends, and that's how Tim ends.
So I guess the weakest songs on my record on this record for me are the two that you mentioned that they were just shit they came up with for Bob to play on.
Right. Which it is, and which is another amazing fact about this is that they already had the song Can't Hardly Wait. He had that written, and they decided not to put it on this record.
On the extended version of the album.
Yeah, and then they eventually put on the next record with Horn, and that's a great song. It's such a catchy hit song. But that's so like Paul Westerberg to say, nah, you know what, screw it. Let's put these songs on it. And not put, why would you not put all the best songs you have right now on your major label debut? But it's just part of just showing that.
But Sire was the major label for those. It was like the minor major label.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Yeah.
It was like, it wasn't Warner, it wasn't Atlantic, it wasn't Elektra.
Right. It was Sire.
Sire,
Ramone, the
Ramones
label.
Right, exactly.
Which says a lot.
Yeah.
It does say a lot. But that's it. That's Tim. That was my record. And let me ask you. Barry did admit to me in the break. I know it was in the break. Sure. He said that he never actually owned this record, and this week was the most he's ever listened to it.
Right.
So what do you think? Do you?
Actually, I have a greater appreciation for it after having this discussion with you, so that I could appreciate it more because you listened to it more. You had more time with it. You're probably a bigger Replacements fan than me.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I had gotten into other stuff,
right?
And by the time I saw him, I probably saw him in Tallahassee in about 19. It must have been 80 when they break up in 89, or not? Was it earlier than that? Later than that? 91? No, they broke up before that. Anyway, I saw them with the second guitar player,
Slim.
Yeah, Slim. And
Slim Whitman.
Yeah.
That's not Slim Whitman.
And I think the fire was gone by that point.
Yeah, no, I did not. I felt like the fire, after Bob left, I really felt like the fire was
That's kind of what I felt like when I heard that he left. I was like, so the id has left the band.
Exactly. And it became more like a Paul Westerberg project.
It's like when Keith Moon died.
Right, which is still
Kenny
great.
Jones.
But it's not the same. It's the Paul Westerberg and it's his thing.
It became
He's still
his
a great songwriter, but it became his thing. So not the same as
the
Replacement. So what So what do you got in store for us for the next record? He has not told me, so this
no,
will be
I haven't. And it's an album that received many, many accolades when it came out, but didn't crack the top anything. And it is the second album by Pavement, Crooked Rain, Crooked Rain.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know whether you've ever really listened to them.
You know what? It's this will be interesting because Pavement has always been this band that I've sort of I appreciate it, but too clever for me. Too clever. They're almost the opposite of the Replacements.
Well, that's
because
true.
Stephen
I'll give you an in. Okay, but I'm going to give you an in.
Okay,
I'm going to give you an in. The guitar, not Stephen Malcolmus, the other guitar player of Pavement, one of his big influences was the Replacements. So if you get irritated with the clever, but
I will get irritated because I'll be honest with you, I've never owned a Pavement record. I've heard songs and I've said, oh, that's a good song, I like it. I always felt like they tried too hard to be slackery and to sound like I always felt they tried too hard to be like a band like the Replacements were, even though you can't, but to sound thrown off and lo-fi.
The thing about this record is it's not lo-fi. It's one of the best recorded rock records I've ever
And which one is this again? I forgot already.
Crooked Rain.
Okay,
Crooked
Rain.
Rain.
I have heard that a lot of so I'm sure I will end up liking it a lot.
And
I probably will.
And it's 25. What is it? 20. It's 25 years old. 93. Did it come out in 93 or 92?
Oh, okay.
94.
So it's later.
24,
okay,
25 years.
Nice.
It's been out a long time, and I'm like you. I did not listen. We saw them on their first tour when they had the crazy drummer, the guy who's the guy who used to run around and do headstands and stuff. They had this older guy who played drums for them on their first tour. We saw them at the 40 Watt in Athens. They were the big deal. It was like, oh, Pavement's coming. Oh, they're a big deal. We saw them. It was great. And then I just kind of didn't pay attention after that. And I didn't hear these records probably until 10 years ago. And I was in this band with a doctor and an accountant and a real estate guy.
Oh, wow.
And the doctor, we would sit in he had a studio in his house. We'd sit and let's just put music on. Right. And he put on some Pavement. He put on probably this record. And I was like, holy shit, this is really, really good. and you might get a different.
I'm sure I will.
If you haven't heard it in a while,
I'll probably still get annoyed by Stephen Malcolmus, though.
Really?
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah,
will.
maybe. Okay. Cool.
I'm a hater. I can be a hater.
Yeah, I'm a hater too. I'm a hater, but I hold back for the podcast because I don't want anybody to. I don't need no hate mail. I don't need no damn hate mail.
Really? Okay, that's probably a good idea.
Sure.
Probably
sure.
a good idea.
Yeah. No, I could cut loose.
All right. Well, maybe next week.
Right.
But for now, that's Barry Stock.
That's Rob Elba.
This is That Record Got Me High.
Episode 7, 10 replacements.
All right. We'll see you next week.
We're out.